I want to tell you about medieval studies at Western. It, and the first question that I have to answer is why study the Middle Ages? Why do medieval studies? The answer is twofold, I think, in the modern day. First of all, the Middle Ages established the patterns for a lot of the ways that we live our lives today. And people don't really understand that. For example, Christianity, which is the second largest religion in the world, and you could argue it the most influential, as, for example, we all take Easter and Christmas off. That really developed during the Middle Ages, from about 300 onwards, when it was accepted at the Roman Empire, on through the developments in the High Middle Ages. But Christianity as an entity that was certainly throughout Europe, and certainly through Northern Africa, a large part of the Middle East, well into Asia, that happened in the Middle Ages. And the second religion that developed very explicitly during the Middle Ages is Islam, which began in the 7th century in Saudi Arabia. Difficulties between Islam and Christianity, from the 12th century through to the 14th century. And it's important to understand the origins of those religions and the early developments of those religions in order to understand what's going on today. Things like laws. Justinian's code is from the 6th century, and most modern laws develop onwards from Justinian's code, and from common law traditions in England. Certainly, the law is very based on common law traditions. In France, the civil code is based on codes going back to Charlemagne and the Salian emperors. People frequently talk about the way in which women are treated. Either they're on a pedestal or they're in the gutter. The parameters of that relationship seem to have a lot to do with notions of courtly love from the 12th century. The sheer complexity of the way in which women functioned in the Middle Ages really well reflects the complexity with which women function today. A huge number of the patterns of modern life come to us from the Middle Ages. Even, for example, people talk about how the nation state got started in the 19th century, but the ethnic divisions by nation in Europe were already in place in the Middle Ages. Second reason for studying the Middle Ages, that's a major reason, is that they're alive today. We have this notion of reliving the Middle Ages that appears over and over again in video games, in TV shows, in books, in movies. The whole Robin Hood, Arthur, Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, all of this material derives from a notional existence of the Middle Ages, as if they are real today. And people think of the Middle Ages as if they understand the details of what went on in the Middle Ages, and want an astonishing number of people seem to want to relive them today. There's a lot of medieval traditions in Canada. The room that we're sitting in, Convocation Hall, here at Western, is built to look like a medieval dining hall. There's no question, but that this is the second floor of the building. This is the original Convocation Hall. That's what medieval dining halls were used for as well in the Middle Ages. You graduated, because gradus means to graduate, and graduating meant you went from the step where you ate below with everybody else in the university, and you stepped upwards to where the faculty sat and ate on the dais at the front of the room. And so graduating was literally being hauled up one or two or sometimes three steps. We have here Con Hall, which has that sense of the size and height, and the nice ceilings of a true medieval surround. It's got all of the lancet windows actually sort of replicated in the wooden walls that we've got surrounding us. and a minstrel's gallery up at the top. I mean, Western does have an absolutely beautiful and fundamentally collegiate Gothic campus with the limestone gray of the local area and that sort of replicated in all of the buildings in order to maintain that facade of the collegiate Gothic. Specifically, medieval studies at Western, we have campus-wide collection of scholars here, 20 some of us. And medieval studies is the only program at Western that involves courses from all 3 affiliate colleges and 5 main campus faculties, and they are different courses at each place. There are some other programs where they replicate courses, but for example, there's several faculty members at King's College teach some brilliant religious studies courses, which are a part of our program. They're optional parts of our program. Colleague over at Huron College teaches some really interesting music courses, music and liturgy courses, which are part of our program. Colleagues at Brescia teaching courses in Spanish medieval literature and English medieval literature. And then on main campus, we have colleagues in social science faculty, the history courses, music faculty. There's some senior music courses, the arts and humanities, which is the home faculty for this program, especially the Department of English and Writing Studies, where we administer the program. But we range right around the campus. So we have a program which runs across the whole university and which offers a real opportunity for thinking in an interdisciplinary way and a cross-disciplinary way. The first year course, Medieval Studies 1022, which I'm teaching this year, is an introduction to the whole of the Middle Ages. We're going to spend time talking about medieval childhood, manuscript studies, food, clothing. We are spending a fair bit of time talking about the origins of Christianity and Islam. We just spent a month looking at a book called Medieval Bodies, in which we investigated exactly how they thought about the human body and how it functioned in the Middle Ages, so that we do a really wonderful kind of study of all of the ways in which we know about the Middle Ages. So there's a real opportunity to study across the university and think across the university about the kinds of things you can do. Our upper level programs, we have a minor and a major, and the requirement in the major is a course in manuscript studies that is taught by a colleague in the Faculty of Music. And otherwise, the requirement is that you have to do a course that is on the side of science, philosophy, history, religion, and one course that is on the side of language, literature, culture. So let me just finish by saying Weshal, which is the Old English word meaning be well. It comes into modern English as wassail, the wassail bowl, which is a welcoming introduction that, and you all know this because every time anybody ever walks into your house, you want to offer them a drink. You're always offering them a glass of water or a glass of something. In the medieval tradition, it's the wassail bowl. So Weshal, wassail, think about coming to Western for medieval studies. We would welcome you here. Be well.
I really enjoy medieval studies. I've taken one course in it so far. I'm in my second year right now, and because of that course, I've decided I'm going to do a minor in medieval studies in addition to my honor specialization that I'm already doing. I had a wonderful time during the course. It was kind of the one course that I chose that was like a fun course that I just chose on interest based. I don't really remember what I was expecting, but it turned out that the course was one of my favorites last year. It's a really rich course that covers a period of history that I find very interesting. It incorporates information about all different aspects of medieval life, near the fall of the Roman Empire and the Byzantine Empire and all of that stuff, all the way up until roughly the 1500s, 1400s, 1500s. So you get to cover a really wide time span as well as a wide array of topics.